Welcome back to Mimi's Organic Eats. Today we're making citrus scones with glaze. These light and refreshing scones use a combination of citrus and they have a sweet glaze on top. Let me show you guys how to make them. So first we're going to add our dry ingredients into the bowl of a stand mixer, and I'm using the paddle attachment today. And now if you guys want to make these scones by hand, you can totally do that as well. It's going to be a similar process to making pie dough. So first we're going to add in our all-purpose flour, and I have 284 grams. Next we're going to add in 75 grams of cane sugar. Next we have 1 tablespoon of baking powder. This is what's going to make these scones rise and make them nice and fluffy. And last we're going to add in half a teaspoon of salt. Now we're just going to mix the dry ingredients on low for just a few rotations. We just want to combine the baking powder and the salt with the sugar and the flour. That's all it needed. Now we're going to grate 113 grams of cold butter straight from the fridge. You always want to use cold butter whenever making scones. This is what's going to make them tender and flaky as opposed to crumbly and dry. And so my top trick whenever making scones is I like to grate the butter. And if you don't have a grater, you can chop it into small pieces, but I just find that the grater works so much better, faster, and it just gives you the best tender, flaky scones. So you want to use the large side of your grater, just like a pizza cheese size. That's what we're using today. So now your butter will look like this. Now we're just going to add this into the stand mixing bowl with the flour mixture. So once the butter is added into the mixing bowl, we're going to add in the rest of the wet ingredients. We're not going to mix anything just yet. So next we're adding in 1 large egg. Oopsies. Next we're going to add in 3/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. Next we're going to add in half a teaspoon of lemon flavor and orange flavor. This is going to give this a highly concentrated citrus flavor with just very minimal ingredients, and the flavor is just so good. And then last, we're going to add in the zest of 1 lemon and 1 mandarin. If you guys don't have a mandarin, you can go ahead and use a cutie. That's what I'm using today. When I first made this recipe, I had tons of mandarins, but today I have tons of cuties for my farm box, so this is what I'm using. So make sure to keep your lemon and mandarin or cutie or orange or whatever you use for that one. And we're going to use that juice to make the glaze. Now we're just going to mix this on low until a shaggy dough forms. And we don't want to overmix this. Scones are similar to making pie crust. So if you see a little bit of dry flour on the bottom or a little bit of dry bits, we can just finish that by hand. So now we're going to line a baking sheet with parchment paper, and now we're just going to form this dough into a round disc, and then we're going to cut it into triangles. So if your dough is a little bit dry on the bottom like mine is, you can just go ahead and mix this with your hands. Now we're just going to form this into a round disc that's about 7 inches in diameter. Now we're just going to cut this into 6 triangles, just like a pizza. Now we're just going to separate the triangles onto the baking sheet. Now we're just going to add 2 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream into a small bowl. This is going to be the topping that we're going to brush onto the scones. This is going to make them super golden brown. I like to brush the sides of the scones as well. Now we're going to refrigerate the scones for 30 minutes. This is going to do 2 things. First, it's going to help with spreading so that they don't spread too much. And then second, it's going to help keep them really tender and flaky because we want to keep that butter cold. Scones are very similar to pie crust, as you want to have the butter cold because that's what's going to make them super flaky and not tough. So when the scones are almost ready to come out of the fridge, it's time to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. So once our oven is preheated and our scones have chilled, now it's time to bake them at 400 degrees for about 20 to 24 minutes or until they're golden brown. So while the scones are baking, it's time to make the glaze. So we're going to start by adding 142 grams of powdered sugar into a large mixing bowl. And you guys want to make sure you sift it. This is going to ensure that there's no clumps and you have a nice smooth glaze. And then you're going to add in 2 tablespoons of liquid. And now you can use the juice from your lemon, from your mandarin, your cutie, your orange, or you can use a combination of both of them. Either way will work. Now we're just going to whisk this together until a smooth glaze forms. Once the scones are cooled, now it's time to just drizzle the glaze right on top. And now these scones are done and they're perfect with a cozy cup of coffee. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and leave a comment below. And if you want more cozy breakfast recipes just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join me next time in the kitchen.